And with that being said, we're going to move on to introductions. As I have mentioned before, my name is Sheikh Azim and I am the Interim Vice President of Regional Affairs. Prior to this role, I served as the Legislative Affairs Director for Region 9, and before that, I served as the Delegate to Chaffey College. And I'll hand that off to our presenters. I am not sure if Emilio is here yet. He just got off of work, so let me hand it off to Anjali.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. So hi, everybody. My name is Anjali Patel. I'm a vice chair of Region 2. And prior to this role, I was director of communication and a former delegate from Sierra College. And currently, I also hold the position as vice president in my local SBA, and I'm a chair of Women's Caucus. Thank you, and I'll forward to Henry now. The floor to Henry. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Henry Gardner. I'm the Regional Affairs Director for Region 8 and also the SBA President at my local college, Santiago Canyon College, and I was actually the past Vice Chair for the region as well. It's just a bit about me, but I'm going to pass it on to Brianna for next introduction.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Ross, and I'm also a Legislative Affairs Director for Region 8. Henry is my rad. And I'm also the SBA President at my local college, which is Irvine Valley College. And I actually served it last year, and so that's why I'm excited to be here to teach you all on how you can be great delegates as well. So now I'll pass it on to Gerardo.
Thank you, Director Ross. My name is Gerardo Chavez. I am the Regional Affairs Director for Region 9. Last year, I served as a delegate for Riverside City College. Now we'll pass it on to Director Blevins.
Thank you, Director Chavez. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Benjamin Blevins, and I am the Regional Affairs Director for Region 10. I also serve as the Regional Affairs Committee Vice Chair, and as well, I am the Student Trustee for the Grossmont-Cuyamaca Community College District, and before that, I was also the Vice Chair of Region 10. Going from, so now that you know who everyone that is here, we're going to move on to our next slide, which is going to be talking about the structure of the SSCCC. And so first things first, I really just want to stress and emphasize our purpose. So I'll read it as it is there. Our purpose is to improve student access, promote student success, engage and empower local student leaders, and enrich the college experience for all California community college students. Now, this is in everything that we do. This is why we are an organization. This is who we are as student leaders. This is what pushes us forward, along with our resolution process, which I will get into later. But just also know that the SSCCC, and what makes us special is that we are recognized by California Ed Code and the California Code of Regulations, and by the Board of Governors as well. You know, we have the strength that we are the official legal recognized voice for over 2.3 million community college students, and that does give us a substantial voice, as you will soon learn. Like I said before, the resolution process is one of the only methods, I believe, yeah, the sole method where our direction as an organization, where it's steered. You as delegates, through passing resolutions at General Assembly, you take the lead. You help us figure out what you need. You help us as a board of directors, as an organization, go where the students need us to go and advocate for what the students need us to advocate. So just a little on that. We're going to go to the structure of the board of directors as well. So next slide, please. So a little bit about the board of directors. So the board of directors is our big managing body of the Senate. So our board officers are elected at General Assembly by the Delegate Assembly, by all of you. And then our directors are elected by the regional delegate assemblies once a year. So our officers include President Stephen Kodur, Vice President Catherine Squire, Interim Vice President of Regional Affairs Tariq Azim, Vice President of Legislative Affairs Andrew Nickens, Vice President of Finance Tony Schiffmeyer, and Vice President of Communications, Sean Young. They work hand in hand with every region, but also the 20 directors that we have on our board of directors. So each region has a RAD and a LAD. Fun fact, we actually used to have 30 directors. We used to have a systems affairs director, or SAD, and we are no longer SAD because now we only have 20 directors. And I thought that was a really funny joke. But anyways, so we have regional affairs directors and legislative affairs directors from each region, and they make up our board of directors along with the board officers. We also have one full-time professional staff, Dr. Julie Adams, who serves as our executive director, and she really helps in the administration and the management of the region in concert with the board of directors. And all of these duties can be found in the SSCCC bylaws, Article 5, Section 1. And I'm going to pass it on to Interim Vice President of Regional Affairs, Tariq Azim.
Thank you so much, Director Blevins. In accordance with the SSCCC's bylaws, regions are administrative subdivisions of the SSCCC Board of Directors. This means that the Board of Directors centralizes the regions and initiates policies, procedures, and guidance that benefit the entirety of the system. Our regions are split into 2 units. The first unit being the Delegate Assembly, the most important one, and the second one being the Region Executive Board. The Region Delegate Assembly is the collective body of all of the delegates within the region. There is one delegate from each college's local student body association, and this meeting is chaired by the Regional Affairs Director. The Region Executive Board is composed of the 5 region officers who are elected by the Region Delegate Assembly, and they meet as needed, but are required to meet once per month. And just like the Delegate Assembly, this meeting is also chaired by the Regional Affairs Director. And just to note this is that every meeting by the region, whether it's Executive Board, Delegate Assembly, or committees, all of those meetings are open to the public and anyone can attend. The Region Executive Board oversees the activities and the structure of the Region Delegate Assembly and is held accountable by the Delegate Assembly. It will be mentioned later on in this webinar that our structure is sort of like an inverted pyramid where students are always at the top. If you are not familiar already with the process, the SSCCC has adopted a region delegate verification process to ensure that there is more transparency and accountability between student body associations and the Delegate Assembly. Before a delegate can be considered present or a college can be considered active, there may be proper submission of the delegate verification process. And you can get more information about this process from your Regional Affairs Director. And finally, the regional officers exist to facilitate the operations of the region. All 5 of these, the Regional Affairs Director, the Vice Chair, the Legislative Affairs Director, the Treasurer, and the Communications Officer, are all members who cannot vote in the Delegate Assembly meetings. So at the Delegate Assembly meetings, the only voting body is the delegates, and in case of a tie, the Regional Affairs Director. They exist in these meetings to answer any questions and to facilitate with any discussions. And what these officers do within the region is that they all chair their own internal committees, which are composed of delegates and students at large. More information is going to be available about that soon once we initiate a process of how we're going to get students at large to be a part of internal regional committees. And I also wanted to emphasize that all of our regional officers have both regional duties and statewide duties. So at the regional level, the officers are working to ensure that they are doing whatever they can to uphold the student voice and empower students locally. But they also have an obligation to serve on a statewide committee. For example, each communications officer serves on the statewide communications committee. Each regional affairs director serves on the statewide regional affairs committee that's chaired by myself. And at that statewide level, we are all working collectively to ensure that we are doing whatever we can best for the entirety of the system. And with all that said, I'm going to hand it off to Director Gardner.
All right, thank you, Tariq. So I'm going to give you guys an update on how you can prepare for your monthly delegate assembly, as Tariq had previously mentioned. So to start off, as a delegate or even anybody, a member of the public or anybody you know who wants to participate and join our meetings, please have them sign up for the listserv. I know that in this PowerPoint, we're going to be having links for our flyers for the listserv and so on and so forth, but we can also send that in the chat. If another director could please do that at this time so everybody can have access to that document immediately. So signing up for the listserv essentially gives you access to our often in regular emails when we send out our agendas, our meeting notices, and any sort of calls to action and updates on what we're doing as a region, as well as what we're doing as the SSCCC as a whole. So please do that, and that way you can be up to date and be ready to join in a meeting when it does happen, have it on your calendar. Moving on to the next thing. So reviewing the agenda for your monthly meeting. This is a very critical thing, as many of you might know, for your own separate meetings that you might have attended otherwise. You can find this agenda on our master drive, and I've provided the link in this PowerPoint, and we can provide that in chat as well. Also something that another director could please pass out. And that way you can go in there, you can find your region, whether you're region 1, region 4, or region 10 for whatever reason. You can go and find your region, find their information, and be ready to look at that agenda and find all the Zoom information that maybe was on the email, was sent out, and so on and so forth. Tariq, you just went to the next slide. And maybe was spent on the email, but something that you might want to use to kind of prepare and look at the agenda items so you can be ready for discussion come the meeting that day. Before you actually get to that meeting, once you found out the details, you're going to want to prepare your monthly report. There's a template that's going to be sent out for everybody. You're going to want to talk to your RAD about that one, or your regional affairs director, and they'll provide you with one so you can provide a written report every single month. This way you don't have to continually add additional comments and the meeting can run smoother. Before you actually get into the meeting, as always, for any sort of Zoom format, or even once we get back into in-person, address any technical issues that you may have for teleconference. Make sure your internet's stable if you can. Make sure your mic is set up. Make sure your webcam is set up if you wish to use that. And if you're sharing things on the agenda, make sure that all of your materials are ready to go. And that way you can get going, read it right away, and not have any issues during the meeting. When actually going into the meeting, also make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Make sure your family, your friends, whoever you live with, or wherever you live, is in a quiet scenario. Hopefully you have that benefit. Maybe you have trash coming around. Of course, there's always those issues, but make sure people understand that you're going to be in a meeting, you're going to be busy, you're going to be talking, you're going to be engaging, and that way you need your full attention there, not elsewhere. But I think now that you're armed and ready for the meeting, Tariq, can you move on to the next slide so I can prepare how you can conduct yourself during the meeting? So given that you're armed and ready, I'm going to tell you how to use your arms. So this was a joy to make. I'm going to tell you that right now. Using your arms, i.e. being attentive, being recognized, being mindful, and being succinct. Being attentive in this case, when you're interacting with the meeting, using your arms, is to be engaged, be ready to talk, be ready to be called on, and be ready to respond to any sort of discussion that might be happening, like right away. We don't want to have to call on you if at all possible, and you're walking away from your computer or you're doing something else and maybe you can't hear. You are there to participate in the meeting, to report into the meeting, and to provide discussion. You are really what drives that meeting, and we need you to be there at that time. Going on to recognized, it's very important that you follow this and that you ask the chair for recognition before you move on. It can be simply just, you can say chair, they say recognized, and that way you can just state your name and be ready to go. And that way we know who's talking, we know who's making a motion, and we know who's discussing. So everybody can kind of get a feeling about who's talking and what's going on in that meeting. While you're doing all that, you want to be mindful. If you're going to ask for recognition, if you're going to try to engage, make sure that you're not interrupting somebody in the middle of the conversation. Make sure they finish their sentence and make sure you have a chance to do that. If maybe you're waiting for somebody to finish the sentence and you don't want to have the chair forget that you're kind of requesting the floor, make sure you type in chat. You can request the chair there, and that way they can recognize you later on once they're ready to go and once they can see the opening for you to talk. As well as just kind of not being interruptive in any other respects, it's very important to kind of just be mindful of your situation. And finally, to be succinct. So this is very important for any sort of meeting. We're all busy people. I assure you that there are busy people that are just ready to get out of that meeting, and some people that want to go as long as they can in that meeting and go on tangents all the time. I'm sure you've seen this in all types of meetings, but the point is to be brief, to be to the point, and to be active in that discussion in terms of being ready to finish off what you want to say and make sure to turn those heads while you still can. This means you don't want to go on a tangent, as I said before. You want to make sure that when you speak, you're saying what you want to say, and you're not kind of going off on that stray road where maybe we don't want to have the conversation go at this time, and maybe have that on a different agenda item. But otherwise, that's just general meeting etiquette. As always, just kind of use your common sense for this as well. Just kind of recognize maybe your chair might have a different respect for how they want things to go in certain respects, but just be mindful of the whole thing. Conduct yourself well, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, I'm going to pass it on to Emilio for effective communication.
All right, thank you so much, Director Gardner. Next in this presentation is effective communication. Communication is very strong within our regions, as well as providing communications to your RADs, your regional officers, as well as any executive board. So with communications, there is, as a delegate, you are linked between your ASB and the region and are responsible for contributing to discussions as well as dismissing information. So when you come into your delegate assembly meeting for within your regions, you are brought in with a lot of information. And with that information that is brought upon you as the delegate from the RADs, the LADs, and all the rest of the regional officers, it is your job to also let the your student bodies know what is going on within the SSCCC. With that, you would also provide a brief report of what the region is doing to your ASB. So any events such as if there's a lobby day or a webinar such as this or a town hall, it is your job to also report to your ASB just about the event so that we can get more students, not just delegates, but also students at large to know what is going on and be more interactive within the region. And the last one is stay in contact with your ASB president and your RAD. When you ever have a question or a concern, please reach out to your president as well as your RAD, just about anything. It is a great thing to do just because for us as your regional officers, if we do not hear anything from you, it is pretty hard for us to know what you need as the delegate. So please contribute by just staying connected with us via that be email, if you have their phone number and anything like that. So I will pass this along to my Vice Chair, Angel.
Thank you, Rad Salas. Hello again. So first and foremost, being a delegate is a very important role in itself. And as you may see in the picture, so student voices hold power. So student voices and concerns are very important. And as a delegate, it's your duty and it's one of the most, it's your duty to represent those voices and concerns of the students and your local SBA to the region in your regional delegate assembly meeting every month that you happen. And yes, I agree that reporting is one of the most transparent way where you can communicate effectively. And from those voices from students goes to the delegates, and the delegates represent those voices and concerns in the region meeting, in the delegate assembly meeting, and the local executive board, the regional board, take those voices to and concerns to the board of directors meeting that happens. And similarly, just like how student voices and concerns are brought up to the top of the triangle to the board of directors, when a board of directors have any concerns or want to amend anything in like a bylaws or something, they go to the chain of orders, like down the top of the list to the students. So yeah, this is where the delegate role again plays an important role to have those transparent communication from the board of directors to students and from students to the board of directors. Like that's, and also, yeah, I would like to give the floor to our VPRA, Azim, if he would like to add anything, or if not, then I'll pass on to the Region 8 lad, Brianna. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Anjali. And yes, you covered all of it. Yes, so the inverted triangle, we always have the students at the top. Those are the students are who we work with, who we work for, and anything that we need to do, it has to be what the students want. It cannot. They have to be at the center of all the discussions. We are not here to. We are not here to decentralize the purpose of our organization. And with that, yes, we'll move on to Brianna.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, so yeah, just to continue on with communications, as I was a previous delegate, I'm pretty versed in the ways that we should be communicating with both our region officers and also our SBAs, just to like have kind of circular communication, because again, our whole purpose is to serve the students and bring the student voice up to the state level and back forth through the cycle, so that you as delegates can bring critical information back to your SBAs and know sort of what's going on locally and statewide as well. So with that said, it's super important to report the structure within the region. So when you're meeting with your SBAs, however often you do that, it's important to bring in your report and talk about what you're doing in the region, and vice versa, talk about what you're doing in your SBA at the region. So often in the region, we'll ask for delegate updates and reports. And so that's something you can report, such as like what students are struggling with right now, especially since we're in the wake of COVID-19. Often we will have continuous roundtable discussions that happen monthly. So we can just get an idea of how colleges are dealing with that and how students, what needs that they have right now. Another important thing is to reach out to your regional officers. I know in my region, Region 8, we've divided up our many colleges between our regional officers as to sort of divide up the work. So some of us will be contacting, we stay in close contact with about 3 colleges, the advisors, the SBA presidents, and of course the delegates, just to check in on them and see how they're doing. And also it's important for you to check in on if you have any questions and if you want anything on the agenda for the next meeting. That's super important. And I think one thing that made me a better delegate is that my regional officers were always open for communications and they're always easy to reach. And so that's our commitment to you, is to be open and reachable so that we can always have these clear communications. Another important thing is to follow your region's social media. You can even follow, we have an SSCCC official Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that, just so you can keep up on events such as this webinar that's happening. And also your regional social media is important to stay tuned with, because there'll be certain events that happen regionally, and also it can be used to promote certain events that are happening at your SBA. And definitely, as was already iterated before, subscribe to the SSCCC and regions listserv so you can get those emails as soon as they come out. And it's just super important to stay connected and communicate effectively, because once again, we work to serve you and we need to know how we can serve you in order to best do that. So now I'll pass it on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Director Ross. So I will be speaking on how you can get involved locally in your region. I will be speaking from my experience as a former delegate for Region 9. So in the regions, we have internal committees. I'm just gonna put it out there that as a delegate, there's just more than just attending the region delegate assembly. We have committees, and those committees are rules and resolutions, legislative affairs, communications, and finance. Rules and resolutions works in the areas of the region policies. They also take care of resolution implementation and development. Legislative affairs, the committee that I was in last year, works with local legislation and advocacy. And I'll speak briefly on my experience in legislative affairs. I was the vice chair for legislative affairs, and interim VPRA Azim was the legislative affairs director last year. So I was very fortunate to not just attend the legislative affairs committee meetings, but we were also able to go to the offices of local legislators. We attended several town halls by State Senator Connie Leyva. We also visited the office of Assembly Member Jose Medina. Communications Committee works with social media, promotion, and also the creation of the monthly newsletter. And in finance, it's just the finance of the region. Also within those committees, delegates are also able to become a vice chair, and they're elected within the membership of each committee. As vice chair, you're responsible for taking the minutes, roll call, and you also will chair the meeting in the absence of the committee chair. Students at large will soon be able to serve in internal committees. And committees serve as an advisory bodies of the delegate assembly. So for example, your region is in the plan of creating a town hall, and you would like to bring food and you need to buy materials. So this matter could be referred to the finance committee, and they will look at the logistics. They will see how much money you have in the region, and they will report back to the delegate assembly, and they will say, hey, we have $200 for this. That's how much we can spend. So that's how the advisory body comes into the region. Also, you're able to network with neighboring student body associations. So me coming from Riverside City College in Region 9, I was able to work with Crafton Hills. I was also able to work with San Bernardino, with many other colleges, and we were able to work together in projects and exchange ideas to bring back to our student body association. Also, you have the opportunity to work in special projects that benefit the region. In my experience, after General Assembly of this spring 2020, all of our region policies dissolved. So Region 9 created an ad hoc committee to develop region policy. So I was able to be part of that, and it benefited the region. It brought structure for this year. And that's all I have for getting involved locally. I encourage you to get involved in your committees, and I will pass it on to Director Blevins. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Director Chavez. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can get involved at the statewide level. And okay, so the SSCCC has the power through the Board of Governors and through the Chancellor's Office to appoint students onto our shared governance statewide committees. And those committees can range from guided pathways, they can go through the Distance Education and Technology Advisory Committee, and all the way actually to the Academic Senate Leadership Committee and the OER committees. So you have a very wide range of external committees that any student can be appointed to. All you would have to do is reach out to your regional officers and ask what committees are free. So that is an extremely good opportunity for delegates, for students, for truly anybody to see the work that's being done on the statewide level. Now, I should say that the work that's being done on the statewide level is just as important as the work that's being done on the regional and local levels. Secondly, please listen into Board of Directors meetings. Board of Directors meetings are where the work gets, I don't want to say gets done because it's not true, because a lot of work gets done at the regional level, but it's where a lot of the bigger statewide issues are discussed and action is taken on them. It is where our stances come from. It is where we vote on stances of support for Propositions 15, 16, and 17. And then also I encourage all of you to attend our trainings. So the trainings, you will be notified 3 days before on what trainings we will have. They usually come before Board of Directors meetings on some months. Please keep an eye out on the calendar on the Student Senate website, and also the Listserv. Parroting Brianna, please sign up for that Listserv. That Listserv is our main form of communication right now through delegates and of course social media. But you'll be notified of those, and I encourage all of you to attend. It just makes everyone stronger as student leaders and as students individually. Lastly, join a Board of Directors recognized caucus. So we have a bunch of different caucuses that you can activate and that you can participate in. So we have the Abled Caucus, we have the Black Caucus, the Student Trustee Caucus. You can, I know that there's a lot of work being done on the API Caucus. So I encourage you, I implore you to start a caucus, to restart a caucus, and to join a caucus, because that is how a group of students can really push for change on the statewide level. Now, more information will be provided at the September 4th Special General Assembly, like it says below, but I also encourage you to reach out to the chair of the Equitable Practices Committee, which their emails will be in the chat, and also the vice chair of the Equitable Practices, who serves as the chair of one of the subcommittees. So I am going to pass it on to VPRA Azim if he has anything, or I will open it up to questions.
Nope, great job. You covered everything. We can move on to questions. All right, thank you. Just as I said in the first slide, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat and we will be answering those. I know that we did get a few, but yes, and make sure that the questions that you're asking are specifically towards what we have presented today. I know that there have been some questions regarding whether or not the recording and the presentation will be available. I can guarantee that the presentation will be available, but the video recording, it is up to however our technology will work. If I can get that done and see how I can upload that properly through YouTube. But yes, so those are the initial questions that I've seen. I did see a question from a member of the public. Can student trustees be included in this structure? I'm assuming that was in regards to the inverted pyramid that we showed. The Student Trustee Caucus is one of the recognized caucuses by our board of directors, and we have worked very heavily along with their president and their new executive team on how to facilitate their operations and how to build that relationship with the board of directors and the caucus. So although it's not specifically mentioned onto there, it has been noted. And I see that, how does the monthly delegate report differ from an oral report given at delegate assemblies? So delegates are expected to submit a delegate report. A lot of our regional affairs directors understand that not every delegate can get a report sent in on time. So that's why they offer the opportunity to do an oral report. That is just a opportunity or privilege that is given to the delegates in case they did not submit a report on time. Yeah, please ask any questions regarding this. Someone said, does this webinar occur every month? No, this is the first webinar that the Regional Affairs Committee has done of the term. This is the first event. The Regional Affairs Committee, in accordance with its committee charge, is looking forward to doing more events like this in the future. Okay, and I'm not going to answer that question because it was already mentioned a few times today. Regarding the webinar is the slides are going to be available afterwards. And I do see some hands raised. Please, if you have questions, type them in the chat. It is chaotic to unmute all of the 40 people on the line. In the meantime, I do have a question for some of the former delegates that have presented today's slides. I wanted to ask in general, what is some additional advice that you can give someone who just stepped into the role of a delegate with no understanding of what the position entails? As you know, some of our colleges that are active this year have historically not been active before and have not received the full amount of training or the full amount of knowledge that the previous delegate would have given them. So for the delegates, the presenters who may have been in that situation while you're a delegate, please, if you can provide some information. I know that Rad 9, Gerardo Chavez, is willing to answer that question, so I'm going to unmute you now.
All right, thank you, Tyreek. So when I came into Region 9, I was new to the whole idea of SSCCC, and not to mention that I was barely getting understanding my role in my student body association. That was the first month that I was in student government. But something that helped me understand my role as a delegate is simply having conversations with the regional affairs director and the legislative affairs director and all of the regional officers. With me in legislative affairs, I did not come with a comprehensive knowledge of local legislation, but I worked with the legislative affairs director to get informed and simply ask for advice, like what can I do? Is there anything that I should read? So you have to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, ask for advice. All your region officers are there to help you and guide you in your role as a delegate.
Thank you, Gerardo. And it looks like Rad 8, Brianna Ross, did have another response to that. And then after that, I saw that there was another question. So Director Ross, you're unmuted.
Hi. So when I became a delegate, I actually joined halfway through the year. So I started in January. And so my SBA wasn't too involved with the region before I joined. And so I kind of had to learn a lot of the stuff on my own, especially coming in halfway through. But I just want to draw back to the portion I presented. Communication really is key. So like, if you come into your roles and you feel like kind of iffy about some things or like there's some confusion, I find that meeting with the delegates as a regional affairs or a legislative affairs director, it's good to have like one-on-one update meetings just to like see how the delegate is coming into their role. And so that may be something you can bring up to your regional affairs director or whichever officer you're in contact most with. Just ask them if you want to like have a meeting sometime, just a quick one, just to kind of get some clarity on some things and know like exactly what you're supposed to be doing. That was one of the things that I struggled with first as a delegate, is I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. That's majorly because I came in halfway through the year, but even if you have a question that feels like, oh, maybe this is a dumb question, it's a good question, even if you like feel like it could be answered just by thinking about it some more. If you need any clarity, go to your regional officers for sure.
Thank you for that, Brianna. And I know that we got another question. It was regarding bringing up the lack of a sustainability committee. What is some additional advice on starting a new committee garnered to enable environmental action? So that's a great question. Personally, environmental sustainability is something that I'm very passionate for. And at the statewide level, so I cannot give you a direct answer on how an environmental committee can be formed. My best solution would be to possibly work on a resolution. And for questions concerns regarding the resolution process, you can contact VP Squire. If one of the presenters can put her email and her contact in the chat, that'd be great. In regards to previous resolutions, sustainability focus, I believe that our website does have an archive on former resolutions, but if not, I believe they are in they can be found within our Google Drive. I can take like one or two more questions. If there are no more questions, then thank you to all of our attendees who joined. At our peak, we did have 41 participants. It did lower down a little bit to 36. Hopefully we weren't too boring. We tried making this as engaging and as exciting as possible, having multiple perspectives with former and current officers and former delegates as well. Again, as I mentioned, the webinar the slides will be sent out through the Listserv, and the recording, we will try getting that uploaded to YouTube or seeing however we can upload that. But just to be straight up, I'm not sure what the guarantee would be for the recording. But if anything, there were some notes taken. So if those notes will be attached to clarify anything with the slides as well. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone here, all the delegates who were available, continue to be involved within your region. I hope this clarified a lot of questions. One last announcement I wanted to mention was that September 4th, we are going to have a special General Assembly. This is going to be an election, and it's an election for a full-term Vice President of Regional Affairs, as well as some information regarding our recently formed task forces, and some more announcements. One of the announcements being regarding the statewide caucuses. So please look out for more information. If you're not subscribed to the Listserv already, please do so. And for any other questions or concerns, please visit our website, www.studentsenateccc.org. All right, the webinar is over, everybody. Thank you once again for calling for I think I said like 5 times already, but yeah, no, I love seeing the participation that was here.